He's sitting comfortably. Except one. These matches still best of 11, first to 6, 4 frames to play, and then the mid-session interval. And with a 2-0 lead, Stephen Maguire can think very positive in these next 2 frames, hoping he's going to at least retain this 2-frame advantage. On the other hand, Neil Robertson knows he's got to get a frame on the scoreboard sooner rather than later.
Probably a pot Neil Robertson will take on, but the opportunity is not clear-cut with the red by the black. Damage report. Well, Stephen Maguire coming round to see if that black does pot. Didn't think at first if it did. It's a bit tight, doesn't it? It's going to take good cueing to screw back for the blue. Don't think the black goes.
No, I think to be on the black you'd have to be low on it. So he'll have to go up for the blue, and as you say, he's going to have to, if he's going back up for the blue, he'll have to play this with a little bit more pace than he would like. So it needs good cueing, and he's got to be very accurate with the pot.
Yeah, more accurate than that yellow, which was a similar sort of, you know, he didn't hit that as well. This has got to be struck better, cleaner, no side spin.
Yeah, got it in. He didn't put any side spin on, as Steve said. That would have made it even more difficult, and that's why he's got the wrong side of the blue, so he's got to get in and out of baulk now. He's cued this well. Cued that very well.
Yeah, I think generally he plays that shot very well. Now, even though the black is tied up, there's still the chance to do some damage here early on in this 3rd frame.
7.
See a bit of side spin on that, just to clear the red ball. He's got that red over the middle pocket that he can keep there for emergencies, and perhaps at the same time improve the position of the main pack of reds. So he won't be playing that red over the pocket unless he has to. And if that black does pot from low position,
well,
that's perfect, isn't it, John? If it does. That's what he's played for.
13.
Yeah, he's obviously convinced he can hit enough for the black to pot it. And there are quite a few loose reds, and as you say, he's always got that red near the left middle in reserve. Decent chance, this. Now, if this red, there's no other spot available. If this red is occupying the black spot...
20.
Oh, well, it wasn't. The black went back on its spot. So it may be tied up now. He's just having a look to see if it's still possible. I'm not certain now.
Not now, no. If he could possibly get on the black or on the blue and somehow get the pink into play off the blue, using that red as a bit of insurance policy over the middle pocket, perhaps that's the way forward. Pretty aggressive to try and pot this red he's looking at and shift the red away from the black and still retain position on the black. That is too risky. Got a bit of a kick there.
21.
Nicely on the blue, should he so wish. And a chance to go into the pink, John? Is that the right shot? Perhaps screw into it and open things up a bit?
Well,
yeah, let's go for the green.
Well, I don't see any harm in playing that shot. Maybe if he was a little bit straighter on the blue. Maybe with the blue being a bit thinner. But yeah, a little cannon. As long as he catches the pink fullish, should be okay. And he'll bring a few reds into play as well.
Yeah, and he'd be unlucky not to be on that red by the middle pocket. But yeah, he could lose the white ball down into the corners. It looks like he's playing it. I think this is the right shot if he chooses to go into the pink. I'd have rather gone into the pink than the reds, but it's come out all right.
Yeah, I'm going to say he'll settle for that. He didn't play on the pink. He played into just to bring reds into play, but it couldn't have worked out much better, in all honesty.
Very accurate positionally to know he was going to miss the pink and connect with the inside of the reds.
$27.
Well, same difference in as much as making it into a frame-winning opportunity. And once again, looking at that black. I think it'll go back in its spot, though, isn't it?
I think, in all honesty, though, the pink might be slightly tied up when he pots it, but the reds are now nice and open in the middle of the table. He could win this frame with blues. Could clear the pink spot here as well in potting this. But
Lovely
he
shot.
needs to be on the red to the middle.
He struck it so well. It was a great shot.
33.
And if he can convert this frame, he really has got Neil Robertson under it.
Now, just got to judge the pay. Oh, he's put too much side on it. But he's okay. He's still on the brown. Just.
To some degree, the more reds he gets off the table and the closer he gets to the finishing line, even if he doesn't get over the finishing line, with that red and black close together, it's not clear-cut for Neil Robertson to make a counter-attack. Oh. Just.
Well, certainly his heart was in his mouth there, because that
38.
didn't look as though it was going to drop any more pace than it wouldn't have done. And he played for the red that's just above the pink, not this one.
39.
If he'd have hit the brown in the middle of the pocket, it'd have been on the red just above the pink, which is the one he wanted to be on. Then he could have played for the pink. Being on that red, had to go up for blue or bought colour. He's overscrewed it. That's why he's having to play the green. And this time, a little bit shorter pace. So he's just not got precise positional play, and it may catch him out. He's got a 42-point lead, but there's still plenty on. Yeah, he couldn't get the right side of the blue there. Such was the potting angle. If he'd have screwed to try and come off the side cushion, he could have gone in off in the middle. And the problem he's got here, because the yellow is so close to the brown, there's not the natural gap. If the yellow would have been on its spot, there's a bigger gap. So he's got to do quite a bit now with the cue ball to get it back to this end. Good shot.
38.
He made that look easy. Still not ideal positionally, though. He's had a look at the black. I'm not too sure it does go. The pink may go into the middle from the cue ball down in that area. But it looks like he should be screwing back for the blue. Bit harder with the rest to screw back. He's got the right side of the blue. He's back in perfect position. And I would suggest that that one positional shot has more or less got him over the line in this frame. He just needed to get position. Struggling for a few shots to keep the cue ball under control.
54. 55.
And that's always a telltale sign with a player. When he gets down very quickly, you know he's perfect. And, well, just this red and a colour.
61.
Red and a pink. And Neil Robertson will need a couple of snookers. So that means his snooker's required, but as we saw in the first frame, you know, if you can pot the colour after the frame winning red, then you give your opponent no hope whatsoever. 62 points to lead at the moment, 59 remaining. Pot the pink, frame over. In it goes. So Neil Robertson now 68 behind, 59 remaining.
68.
That equates to 3 snookers required.
Yes, and even more significance now on the next frame. Should Steve Maguire win this frame? It's not that Neil Robertson has done anything wrong, John. It's just he hasn't got going this evening.
No, and but for those 3 snookers, it should be 3-0, Stephen Maguire.
Steve Maguire's job in this next frame coming up is to try and completely keep the handcuffs on his opponent. There's a bit of pressure on doing that as well. You know full well if you've got a guy cold, just not got his arm going, you want to keep him there.
I'm sure Neil would love to concede, but it's the etiquette of the game. Shouldn't concede when your opponent's coming to the table. I know a few people do, and there's nothing wrong with it. I know Stephen was sort of sat there expecting Neil to say, okay, it's your frame. But the etiquette is to concede when it's your turn to play, not your opponent. So the cue ball occupying the black spot. Black has to go up on the yellow spot, which is the only one available.
Yeah, sometimes
15.
When you've missed a ball and you know you've lost the frame and the cue ball is still
16.
rolling around the table, it's effectively still your shot. You can give in while that's happening, but once the ball's come to rest, it becomes your opponent's shot. The etiquette changes a little bit. It's a fractional difference, but
23.
Starting to find the middle of the pockets now is Stephen Maguire. And although he's been a little bit disappointing with his results, although he's the reigning Welsh Open champion, he's going to defend that in the next couple of weeks. He knows how to win.
30.
shows you how important table time is to how a player looked on the shot. Stephen Maguire looked totally in stroke now. Wasn't that way in the first frame, wasn't guaranteed that way in the second frame. But you now look at him playing as free and as easy as he could possibly be playing, everything going right.
42.
The only thing is that at the end of every frame it resets and your opponent has a chance to recover, but big chance to go 4-0 here. Be massive result. Don't think anybody would have predicted that.
So in goes the black. He had a long drawn out 46 minutes first frame, but that one was just over 15 minutes. The Flying Scots 3-0 in front.